Hey everyone, we're back again. Myself and Ilkan. Today we're going to be discussing the rental indexes in Dubai. We always tend to go into the sales numbers and what's happening in the real estate market when it comes to buying a property. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening to the rental market in the industry, especially knowing that Expo 2020 is approaching us in less than 6 months. I know some areas we're still struggling with the rents. Some areas have risen by 10, 15, 20 and 25%. What do you think is going to happen to this rental index? Because a lot of the landlords, obviously, and investors are worried about this. Mm-hmm. Give us your advice on it.
Well, it's an interesting twist to take on, obviously, but it's going to be excruciatingly difficult not to come back to sales, irrespective of what we talk about, right? Because it does influence one another, right? These are two very similar parallels. So, in terms of rentals, I think the best way of blatantly putting it out there is that they've gone down, right? I mean, at the beginning of COVID, we saw that very clearly. It took a very monumental drop down, basically.
Of course.
And then slowly things started to pick up again, haven't they? And I think it, revived the market to a certain degree because it gave us that kind of V-shaped recovery, as you mentioned in the past.
Yes.
And I think that it's only going to continue on the incremental stage now, because I don't see it going down again.
Right.
There isn't a possibility of that happening.
It plateaued at a specific range and then it's not going further. Yes, I agree. But when is it going to start rise again? And what are the first areas I would say that will see a rise?
You see, the reason I say that I don't see a possibility of it dropping at the moment, right, is, as you mentioned, is how close to Expo we are.
Right.
And I look at it statistically in terms of where the Expo has been in the past, right? In Russia, in Italy, and in China. Right? So those three places, every time the Expo hit there, irrespective of what was going on, it always saw, at least an incremental increase of the whole country's GDP. And we saw the massive success that China had, right?
Right. And not only Expo, let's not forget that the normal tourism level that usually Dubai gets every year in the last couple of years isn't at its normal yet. And we're expecting, obviously, it will come back to normal at some point later this year.
Yeah.
So that's one factor. Another factor is that the amount of families, people, bachelors from all around the world that are going to be moving to Dubai after seeing how this country handled the whole COVID situation. So there's pretty much a few factors that are going to play
I think it's going to be a limitless number of factors, definitely. You can't find one definitive answer for that.
Most importantly is the Expo, obviously. Yeah. That's going to bring millions into the country.
It's not the foundation that will, it's not the foundational base that will see the increment, but it's going to be one of those influential factors without a doubt.
Right, because we've seen already an increase in the rental index for townhouses and villas in Dubai. Mm-hmm. The most important thing is that the apartments pick up that same leverage as well. Mm-hmm. We need to see an increase in the rental index for apartments. Obviously, all these visitors that are going to be coming for the Expo, again, when the tourism level picks up again, we expect that to start rising by, let's say, Q3 this year. Mm-hmm. Maybe even but towards the end of July, August.
That's a fair speculation.
Do you agree with that?
That's a very fair speculation.
Okay.
I mean, that's a very, very strong argument in terms of where the market could potentially go to, right? But and I wholeheartedly agree with you. My big observation rather is that what the Emirates intends to do is to bring in 50 million people over the course of 6 months.
Right.
Even if you hypothetically take only 1% of that number, that is still a tremendous amount of traffic, aviation traffic coming into through the borders, and you can't be so pessimistically naive to think that people will not want to stay here after they come and visit the Expo. Right. And I think that it will play a factor because there's hardly any city like Dubai at the end of the day.
Of course.
And when people come in, whether they're tourists, whether they're exhibitionists, and whoever they may be, when they come and see what's being offered here, I think they, a fair amount of them will want to stay and call Dubai home.
I mean, we're very optimistic, obviously, because we know the demand is still there in the market. It's just a matter of when is this whole correction is going to end. But in general, we're positive about it, and we just want to tell our viewers and the landlords that watch us and the investors all around the world that yes, we do expect it that it's going to rise
100%.
at least for the apartments. Absolutely. It's done for the villas and townhouses, it's already rising. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Well, thanks for being with us today, Ilkan, and thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.